Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. Monday Night Raw tonight was from the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas. And this was Monday Night Raw's go-home show for SummerSlam, which is this Saturday. And Monday Night Raw tonight, I thought the show was just a very mid-show at best. The wrestling was good, but just overall, it was just a very mid-show. And WWE, of course, did nothing to hype us up for SummerSlam this Saturday. The build for SummerSlam has just been absolutely awful, in my opinion. There's no excitement going into SummerSlam. But tonight on Monday Night Raw, we had Ludwig Kaiser versus Matt Riddle. Once again, we had Maxxine Dupri in her Monday Night Raw in-ring debut, and she had taken on Valhalla. We had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Tommaso Ciampa. We had Gable versus Gunter, and this was a 5-minute match. If Gable could take down Gunther in 5 minutes, which was stupid, which led into a regular match between Gunther and Gable, which I'll get to. We had Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus, which was a waste of fucking time, which I will get to that also. And the main event, we had Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest and Dominik Mysterio. But overall, Monday Night Raw, like I said, just was a mid-show at best. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with Logan Paul. And already WWE wanted us to change the freaking channel with Logan Paul coming out. So Logan Paul got into the ring, boos from the crowd. Logan Paul ended up welcoming everyone to Monday Night Raw. He ended up saying that he has a thing where he doesn't like to talk in front of brain-dead people for too long, and that he'll make it quick. Logan Paul ended up saying that he's not here for them. He's not here for the fans, but he is here for Ricochet. He ended up saying last week on Monday Night Raw, he tried to get Ricochet over to his audience. He ended up saying that he tried to build some hype around their match, but he was sneak attacked, victimized, and abused. So Logan Paul ended up saying that while he was down, Ricochet tried to make a spectacle of the whole thing. So he ended up telling the crowd that at SummerSlam, he will beat Ricochet in the most viral WWE match in history. So Ricochet ended up coming out. The crowd there in Houston started chanting his name. Ricochet got on the mic, and he ended up saying that last week he was in Logan Paul's live stream. But this week, he is in Logan Paul's head. Ricochet then ended up telling Logan Paul that he is not the good guy in this situation. He ended up saying that Logan Paul can fool the people who play to follow him online, but he isn't fooling Houston. So Logan Paul ended up telling Ricochet that his contract is free. Ricochet then ended up telling Logan Paul that their match at SummerSlam will be box office all time. So Ricochet then got into the ring. He ended up telling Logan Paul that while he might not like anything about him, and he is a horrible human being, he ended up saying that if there is one thing he can respect, is that he is an athlete, and that he is a competitor, a showman, and he can always respect that. So Logan Paul ended up appreciating what Ricochet said. So the fans were chanting, "You suck," to Logan Paul. Logan Paul ended up telling Ricochet that Ricochet is one of the best to ever do it until he showed up. He then told Ricochet that this all started back at the Royal Rumble when he made them go viral. So we saw the clip of their spot from the Royal Rumble where Logan Paul and Ricochet end up doing that epic double jump spot where they both collided, which that was a really good spot there from the Royal Rumble. So Logan Paul ended up saying that he really has it, but Ricochet is right. He ended up saying that they are going to put on a hell of a match on Saturday. So Logan Paul and Ricochet end up fist bumping. Logan Paul ended up telling Ricochet that after the match on Saturday, the ring announcer, Samantha Irvin, who of course is Ricochet's fiance. So Logan Paul ended up saying that after he beats Ricochet at SummerSlam, he hopes there is no hard feelings when he will have his girl saying, and the winner is Logan Paul. So Logan Paul ended up waving at Samantha Irvin. Ricochet ended up taking Logan Paul down with some right hands. So both Ricochet and Logan Paul started fighting in the middle of the ring. Ricochet ended up jumping off the top rope, and Logan Paul then ended up hitting him with a right hand, and pretty much that was basically that. There was a spot where Ricochet ended up botching a kick to Logan Paul. But overall, as I say, this build for Ricochet and Logan Paul has been, pretty good outside of everything else building towards SummerSlam. But Logan Paul actually made it, serious when he brought up Samantha Irvin. Overall, I thought this was a decent segment to open Monday Night Raw. And then we saw Jackie Redmond. Jackie Redmond was backstage with Imperium, with Gunther, Giovanni Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser. So Jackie Redmond ended up asking Gunther about his match at SummerSlam with Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. Gunther ended up telling Redmond that he lives in the here and now, and his only concern right now is his disappointment with Ludwig Kaiser. He kept saying because he could have avoided all this last week, and that he expected more from Kaiser. Gunther then ended up saying that McIntyre is not here tonight, but tonight is the night where Kaiser can redeem himself against Matt Riddle. And then he ended up saying that at SummerSlam, he will personally end Drew McIntyre once and for all. So that was what Gunther had to say. But it should be a good match, with Gunther and Drew McIntyre on Saturday. We've seen them go at it before, but should be a good match. And the Intercontinental Championship is going to be on the line. And then we had the first match of the night. Ludwig Kaiser versus Matt Riddle. We've seen this match before, but this was a good match here. Of course, Kaiser was accompanied by Vinci and Gunther. And the match ended up getting underway. Riddle ended up taking down Kaiser. And Kaiser ended up getting out of a takedown. And he reversed it into a headlock and a roll-up. But Matt Riddle ended up kicking out. Both Riddle and Kaiser got back to their feet. Riddle delivered a gut-wrench suplex to Kaiser. Riddle then delivered a chop to Kaiser's chest. Kaiser came back and delivered a chop to Riddle's chest. So both guys were exchanging right hands. Riddle then knocked Kaiser down. And Riddle then delivered a fisherman suplex to Kaiser. He ended up going for the cover, but Kaiser ended up kicking out. And you saw blood coming down off of Kaiser's upper lip because that right hand by Riddle, it appeared to be a accidental legit punch. So that's probably why blood was coming down from Kaiser's upper lip. Riddle ended up going for a spear toward Kaiser, but Kaiser moved out of the way, and Riddle ran right into the ring post. Riddle then delivered a drop kick to Kaiser. Kaiser went to the outside. So Gunther had some words of encouragement for Kaiser. Riddle got back to the ring. Kaiser got back to the ring. Riddle delivered a clothesline, and Kaiser went to the outside. And so Monday Night Raw went to commercial. Then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Riddle delivered an overhead kick in the middle of the ring to Kaiser. Kaiser was in the corner. Riddle then delivered a right hand, which was followed by an exploder suplex to Kaiser. So we had Riddle end up going for a German suplex. He ended up going for the cover, but Kaiser kicked out. Riddle ended up going for a splash, but Kaiser got his knees up. Kaiser then delivered a clothesline, and he ended up going for the cover, but Riddle ended up kicking out. Kaiser then ended up grabbing Riddle, but Riddle reversed that into a suplex. Vinci got on the ring apron, and Riddle ended up knocking Vinci down. Riddle then delivered a powerbomb, which was followed by a knee to Kaiser's face. He ended up going for the cover, and Kaiser kicked out. Riddle then went to the ropes, but Kaiser delivered an uppercut to Riddle. Kaiser went to the ropes. Riddle then came back and delivered a right hand to Kaiser. Riddle then climbed the top rope. He ended up going for a moonsault. Kaiser moved out of the way, and Riddle landed on his feet. So Kaiser delivered a kick to the side of Riddle's head. Gunther ended up telling Kaiser to go for the kill. So then Kaiser laid out Riddle with a DDT. Kaiser ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Ludwig Kaiser ended up getting the win. And I was like, holy shit. They let Kaiser win a match. You know, since we know Vinci and Kaiser have been taking losses. So post-match, Gunther and Vinci got into the ring. Gunther ended up extending his hand for Kaiser to shake. So Gunther and Kaiser ended up shaking hands, and that was that. But overall, good match from Kaiser and Matt Riddle, even though we've seen them go at it before. And then we saw Logan Paul. Logan Paul was walking backstage. This was when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, and Byron Saxton ended up stopping him. Logan Paul ended up telling Byron Saxton that he gave Ricochet a small taste of what he will do to him at SummerSlam. So Logan Paul ended up saying that he promises that the match at SummerSlam will go viral, and that Ricochet looks like a full-grown fetus. So he actually said that. Logan Paul ended up saying that Ricochet looks like a full-grown fetus. So I'm like, oh, that's not PG. So that was what Logan Paul had to say. And then we had a video package showcasing Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar's feud, which I thought it was a good video package, but terrible song choice for it, though. And then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Maxxine Dupri. This was Maxxine Dupri's in-ring debut on Monday Night Raw. And she had taken on Valhalla. So Maxxine Dupri was accompanied by Chad Gable and Otis. Valhalla, of course, accompanied by the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar. Very meh match this was. So the match got underway, and Valhalla delivered a running knee to Maxxine Dupri because Maxxine took her eyes off of Valhalla. So Maxxine then delivered an arm drag. She kept trying to throw Valhalla into the ropes. Valhalla then reversed that, and Maxxine ended up bumping into the ropes, and she fell down to the mat. Valhalla ended up going for the cover, and Maxxine ended up kicking out. Valhalla got a submission on Maxxine in the middle of the ring, but Maxxine Dupri got to her feet, and she ended up getting out of it. Maxxine then delivered another arm drag, which was followed up by a kick to Valhalla's head. Maxxine then delivered a fisherman suplex, which was followed up by a splash in the corner, and Valhalla then fell down to the mat. Otis got on the ring apron, as did Gable. Maxxine did the caterpillar, which was fucking awful. An awful looking caterpillar. And then she ended up delivering the elbow drop to Valhalla. Maxxine ended up climbing the top rope, and she landed a crossbody to Valhalla. So she ended up going for the cover, but Eric got on the ring apron, which distracted the ref. So both the Alpha Academy and the Viking Raiders end up fighting on the outside. Valhalla ended up hitting Maxxine from behind. Valhalla then ended up placing Maxxine on the top rope. She ended up going for a suplex, but Maxxine ended up sliding Valhalla under her. And Maxxine ended up getting Valhalla on her shoulders, and she fell backwards into a cover, which that looked fucking stupid. So Maxxine ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Maxxine Dupri ended up winning the match. Overall, just very meh match this was. Terrible. We need to move on from this feud between the Viking Raiders and the Alpha Academy. We need to move on from this. Just end it already. And so as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Shinsuke Nakamura was backstage. And in came Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa ended up telling Nakamura that they have a problem, and tonight he will fix that problem. He ended up telling Nakamura that he needs to pick up some momentum, and that starts with him tonight. And Ciampa ended up saying that he will go on and win the SummerSlam Battle Royal, or the Slim Jim Battle Royal, on Saturday. So Nakamura ended up telling Ciampa that he will see him in the ring tonight, and he will be the one to win the SummerSlam Battle Royal. And problem solved. So pretty much that was basically that. So we know that Nakamura and Ciampa are going to be in the SummerSlam Battle Royal on Saturday. So then we had the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day made their way down to the ring. And of course, Dominik Mysterio retained the NXT North American Championship last night at NXT Great American Bash. So Damian Priest got on the mic. He spoke in Spanish. He ended up going on to tell everyone to rise for the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley ended up saying that Monday Night Raw doesn't start until they say it does. To which Rhea Ripley got a big chant from the crowd. The crowd was chanting "Mommy" to her. So Rhea ended up saying that for anyone who doesn't want to stand in line, they have no problem putting them on the shelf. So Rhea ended up saying, "Oh, who will stop us?" So then Damian Priest ended up mentioning Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and Liv Morgan as the people that they have beaten up. So Priest ended up saying that if Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins show up tonight, him and Dominik will make sure they don't leave the arena whole. So Balor ended up telling Seth that he comes out every week and acts insane. He ended up saying that Seth wears some stupid clothes, does a stupid dance, and laughs like a clown. But that isn't insanity. Balor ended up saying that insanity is waking up every day for the last 7 years with all the scars which were left by Rollins. So Balor ended up telling Rollins that at SummerSlam he can't erase those scars, but he will inflict scars. And that will make him feel a little better knowing that every day Seth will wake up and he will remember the time when he ended up beating him for the World Heavyweight Championship. So, of course, Dominik then began to talk. Boos from the crowd, piped in boos, as always, with WWE. So Dominik ended up saying that at SummerSlam, all of Judgment Day will have the goodies. He ended up saying that he will bring pride back to the Mysterio name. Ripley ended up saying that any idiot who tries to get in their way should take a page out of Raquel Rodriguez's book, because if not, they will spend time in rehab, like Liv Morgan and Kevin Owens. So then out came Raquel Rodriguez, and she wasn't smiling tonight. We didn't see the pearly whites from Raquel. So she ended up coming out, and she stormed her way to the ring. Raquel and Rhea end up fighting in the ring as Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominik end up leaving the ring. Raquel delivers some forearms, and she ended up throwing Rhea across the ring. She then clotheslined Rhea to the outside. Raquel then got on the outside. She ended up throwing Rhea into the barricade. She ended up slamming Rhea spine first into the ring post. Raquel then ended up throwing Rhea into the barricade, and she ended up hitting Rhea with some right hands. So Dominik tried to get involved, but Raquel was shouting to him in Spanish. Rhea then ended up hitting Raquel from behind on her knee, and officials ended up running down to try to break up the brawl between Raquel and Rhea. So Rhea then ended up stomping on Raquel's injured knee, and the officials were still getting involved, and pretty much that was basically that. But can you imagine, Raquel, coming back and she's smiling her way down and then starts beating up on Rhea? Can you imagine if we saw that? I would be like, why are you smiling? Rhea injured your knee, and you're coming out there smiling. Can you imagine if that happened? But thankfully, she did not smile as she made her way out. And then we had a video package hyping up, Ronda and Shayna's match at SummerSlam, which is now going to be a MMA rules match. I thought this was very well done on Ronda and Shayna. I mean, I don't care for the match at SummerSlam. I mean, who actually cares? But this video package was done really well. They did a first part and then a second part later on. So we saw that. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw the Alpha Academy backstage. Chad Gable ended up telling Maxxine that she represented them well. So in came Imperium. So Imperium ended up interrupting them. Gunther ended up saying that the first match of the night, and it's a stellar performance by Kaiser. And then they try and turn it into an absolute joke again. So Gable ended up hyping Maxxine up. Maxxine ended up telling them that her coach is an Olympic athlete. Gunther ended up saying that Chad Gable is getting Maxxine to speak for him. Kaiser ended up saying that Gable can't last 5 minutes with Gunther in the ring. So Gunther ended up saying to put the clock on the wall, and he won't last 5 minutes. Chad Gable ended up saying that he can last 5 hours, and tonight. So pretty much that was basically that. So we got Gunther versus Chad Gable in a 5-minute match, which I'll get to. And then we had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Tommaso Ciampa. And this was a decent match. Nakamura delivered a shoulder block to Ciampa. Nakamura ended up going for some kicks to Ciampa, but Ciampa ended up delivering a big kick to Nakamura, which was followed up by a backbreaker. Bronson Reed was watching the match backstage, and he was dressed in a suit. So Ciampa delivered a drop kick to Nakamura, which was followed up by some stomps. Ciampa then grabbed Nakamura, but Nakamura delivered a kick to Ciampa. So both Ciampa and Nakamura were on the ring apron. Nakamura delivered some kicks to Ciampa's chest, and Ciampa ended up falling to the outside. Nakamura ended up throwing Ciampa back into the ring. Nakamura was on the ring apron, and Ciampa delivered a knee to Nakamura's face, and Nakamura ended up falling to the outside. Ciampa placed Nakamura on the barricade, and Ciampa ended up hitting Nakamura with a knee to his face. SummerSlam Monday Night Raw went to commercial. And then when Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Nakamura was in control of the match. He ended up delivering a kick to the side of Ciampa's head. Nakamura then placed Ciampa on the second rope, ended up hitting Ciampa with a sliding German suplex. Nakamura ended up going for the cover, but Ciampa ended up kicking out. Nakamura then ended up grabbing Ciampa, but Ciampa delivered an elbow to Nakamura's face. Nakamura was on the ring apron, and Ciampa ended up hitting him with a DDT. So Ciampa ended up going for the cover, and Nakamura ended up kicking out. So Ciampa then ended up placing Nakamura on the top rope, and we had Ciampa deliver a chop to Nakamura. Ciampa then climbed the second rope, but Nakamura delivered some right hands, which knocked Ciampa down. Nakamura ended up jumping down. Ciampa moved out of the way. Nakamura then ended up hitting Ciampa with a kick. Nakamura then placed Ciampa across the top turnbuckle, and he ended up hitting him with a knee to his body. So Nakamura ended up going for the cover. Ciampa kicked out. So at the end of the match, Ciampa delivered a forearm, but Nakamura delivered a kick to Ciampa. Nakamura then rolled Ciampa up, and Nakamura ended up grabbing Ciampa's tights, and so that's how he got the win. So Shinsuke Nakamura ended up winning the match. Overall, decent match between Nakamura and Ciampa here. And then we saw Raquel Rodriguez. She was backstage with a trainer. Adam Pearce ended up coming in, and Adam Pearce ended up telling Raquel that she is not cleared. But as soon as she is cleared, she will get her match against Rhea Ripley. So pretty much that was that. And then we have Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar ended up coming out wearing his cowboy hat, and he came to the ring. Brock Lesnar stood in the ring. Fans were chanting Cody. So Lesnar got on the mic. He introduced himself. And he was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Brock Lesnar." So he did that in reference to Paul Heyman. You know, when Paul Heyman goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman." So Brock Lesnar ended up saying that he is an NCAA heavyweight wrestling champion. He is also a UFC heavyweight champion. And he is WWE heavyweight champion of the world. Lesnar ended up saying that if there is one thing he knows about championships, is that this is fight week. He ended up saying that the hype is over. And this Saturday at SummerSlam in Detroit, he gets paid to fight, to kick ass against Cody Rhodes. Lesnar ended up saying that at SummerSlam, Cody gets paid to get his ass kicked by him. So fans started booing at Lesnar. He ended up saying to cut the crap. He ended up saying that he's been here way too long tonight. So Lesnar ends up calling Cody out. He ended up telling Cody to come out, shake his hand, and he will see him Saturday. Lesnar ended up saying that if Cody doesn't come out, he will see him Saturday. So Lesnar ended up saying that Cody has 5 seconds before he leaves this town. So Lesnar starts to count down, and Cody's music ended up hitting. So Cody ended up coming out. He was wearing his tights and also a shirt. So Cody ended up staring at Lesnar as he slowly walked down to the ring. Of course, we had the "whoa" from the crowd. So Lesnar started smiling, and he started clapping. Cody ended up circling the ring, and then he slowly made his way into the ring. Both Cody and Lesnar ended up staring at each other. They ended up going face to face. Lesnar removed his cowboy hat and started grinning at Cody. Cody extended his hand at Lesnar. So Lesnar ended up smiling. Lesnar shook Cody's hand, and they were staring at each other. Lesnar shoved Cody with his shoulder, and he left the ring. Cody ended up running to the ropes. He ended up hitting Lesnar with a suicide dive. Lesnar then picked Cody up and slammed him into the ring post. Lesnar then ended up hitting Cody with the ring steps. So Lesnar's music ended up hitting. He ended up going to the back. But then he ended up hitting Cody one more time with the ring steps. So Lesnar began to walk away, but he turned back. Cody got back up to his feet. Lesnar delivered a knee to Cody, and he threw Cody back into the ring. Lesnar then picked up Cody, and he hit Cody with the F5. He put his cowboy hat back on and left the ring. So pretty much that was basically that. But do you all care about their match at SummerSlam? Brock Lesnar gave no explanation still as to why he attacked Cody Rhodes. No explanation. And this all ends at SummerSlam. Good. Thank God. And as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Gunther versus Chad Gable. This was a 5-minute match, beat the clock 5-minute match. So the match got underway. Gunther delivered a headlock takedown. Gable got to his feet. He ended up going for a takedown on Gunther, but Gunther ended up grabbing Gable as Gable ended up grabbing the ropes. So both Gunther and Chad Gable got to their feet. So we had a test of strength between these two, which Gunther got the best of it. Gunther ended up getting Chad Gable down. He ended up going for the cover, but Gable ended up kicking out. Gunther then locked in a headlock on Chad Gable. He ended up twisting Gable's neck. Gunther then delivered a power slam to Gable. He ended up going for the cover, and Gable ended up kicking out. So Gunther delivered some right hands and some uppercuts to Gable. Gable was in the corner, and Gunther delivered an uppercut. Fans were chanting for "Let's go Gable" as Gable started to fight back with some right hands to Gunther. Gunther ended up going for a chop, and Chad Gable ended up ducking. So Chad Gable ended up going for a German suplex, but Gunther ended up blocking that. Gunther ended up hitting Gable with a chop to his chest. So he ended up going for a powerbomb, and Gable landed on his feet. He ended up trimming Gunther up, and Gable ended up locking in the ankle lock on Gunther, and there was only 1 minute left on the clock. So Gunther ended up kicking Chad Gable away. Gable delivered some forearms, but Gunther delivered a chop to Gable, which was followed by a sleeper hold. Gable ended up trying to get out of it, but he was starting to fade. Gunther was going for a powerbomb to Gable, but Gable delivered some right hands, and he ended up throwing Gunther to the outside, and Gable ended up getting back into the ring, and the clock struck 0, so Chad Gable ended up winning the match. Post-match, Gunther grabbed the mic from Samantha Irvin, and he ended up saying that the match is not over. Samantha Irvin then ended up saying that she has been informed that the match will continue. So Chad Gable ended up hitting Gunther with a drop kick, and then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. But overall, Chad Gable versus Gunther here for 5 minutes, it was decent. But Gunther saying, "Oh, this match is not over." So we go from a 5-minute match to just a regular matchup here between Chad Gable and Gunther as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial. So I'm like, this made no sense. Why have a 5-minute match, beat the clock 5-minute match, to having just a regular match after it? I'm like, what the fuck? So then, as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we had Chad Gable versus Gunther again. The match was already on the way. Gunther then delivered some chops in the corner to Gable. He placed Gable on the top rope, but Gable ended up getting Gunther in an armbar. Gable ended up letting go as he landed a knee to the arm off the second rope to Gunther. Gable then delivered an armbar, but Gunther got to his feet, and he ended up hitting him with a German suplex. So Gunther ended up going for the cover, and Gable ended up kicking out. Gunther climbed the top rope, but Gable got to the second rope, and he landed a suplex to Gunther. Gable then delivered some right hands to Gunther. He had run to the ropes, but Gunther ended up chopping Gable down. So Gunther ended up grabbing Gable by his legs, but Gable ended up kicking Gunther away. Gable then delivered a German suplex to Gunther. He ended up going for the cover, and Gunther ended up kicking out. Gable ended up going for another German suplex, but Gunther ended up kicking Gable away. Gunther then delivered a clothesline to Gable. He ended up going for the cover, and Gable ended up kicking out. So at the end of the match, we had Gable end up ducking and rolling Gunther. He ended up going for a German suplex, but Gunther blocked it. He ended up chopping Gable several times. Gunther ended up hitting Gable with a powerbomb, and he ended up going for the cover. And there you go. Gunther ended up winning the match. Post-match, Gunther stood up on the commentary table, and he got on the mic. He ended up saying that at SummerSlam, he will not lose the Intercontinental Championship. He ended up telling McIntyre to have a close look at what he did to Gable, because that's what he will do to McIntyre. So that was what Gunther had to say. But overall, another decent matchup here, but still, it made no sense. Why have a 5-minute match and then just go and have a regular match after it? Makes no sense. And then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, we saw Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes was backstage with Byron Saxton. Cody ended up telling Byron that Lesnar could break his arm again, or his ribs, or his jaw. He ended up saying that the brutality that Lesnar has brought to him, he will bring to Lesnar at SummerSlam. He ended up saying that the aurora of the beast of Brock Lesnar will get shattered at SummerSlam. So that was what Cody had to say. So no explanation from either guys, from Cody or Brock Lesnar. And then we had Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was in the ring. She got on the mic. Becky ended up saying that she said everything she wanted to say and did everything she had to do to get a rematch with Trish Stratus. She ended up saying that there isn't much left to do than to do it. So Becky ended up calling Trish out by her real name, Patricia. Trish Stratus' music ended up hitting. Out she came with Zoe Stark. She was still wearing the face protector, Trish Stratus. Trish got on the mic. She ended up saying that she thought she was going to do the match right now. But then she realized no one tells her when to fight. She ended up saying by some fluke, Becky beat Zoe, and she will get her rematch. But Trish ended up saying that she will tell Becky when. Trish ended up saying that she won't cheat her out of her rematch. And she isn't a cheater, unlike the Astros. So she took a jab at the Houston Astros, which got boos from the crowd. So Trish ended up asking Zoe if they are saying, "Thank you, Trish," because the fans were chanting, "You suck," to Trish. So Trish ended up telling Becky that she is dealing with a situation. Of course, Trish was pointing to her face protector mask. So out came Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce ended up saying that per the agreement, the match is going to happen tonight. So Adam Pearce ended up calling out for a referee, and he ended up saying that the match will happen now. So we had Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus. This went 2 seconds. The bell ended up ringing. Becky delivered some right hands to Trish, but Zoe got into the ring and attacked Becky, so the ref ended up calling for the bell. So Becky Lynch won by disqualification. 2 seconds. And I'm like, what a waste this was. So both Becky and Zoe end up fighting post-match. Trish ended up hitting Becky from behind, and they fell to the outside. Becky ended up slamming Trish's face first into the commentary table. So Zoe Stark ended up attacking Becky. Becky ended up fighting her off. So we had Becky end up throwing Trish over the barricade, to which Trish didn't have her face protective mask on. So Becky ended up trying to manhandle slam Trish onto a chair, but Zoe Stark ended up attacking Becky. Becky then pushed Zoe into the ring post, and then Trish ended up hitting Becky in her body with a chair shot to Becky. So pretty much that was basically that. But enough of this feud. I want this feud to end already. This feud has been absolutely fucking awful. And Trish nowadays is just awful as a heel. But I'm really glad that they're doing the rematch 2 weeks from now on Monday Night Raw, and that it's not taking place at SummerSlam, which we all originally thought was going to be. But there's 2 women's matches on the SummerSlam card. We have Asuka, Charlotte, and Bianca Belair triple threat for the Women's Championship, and Ronda Rousey for Shayna Baszler in a MMA rules match. So, though it's best that they leave Trish and Becky off the SummerSlam card. And then we had another video hyping up Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey, in the MM rules match at SummerSlam. Very well done. This was the second part of the video package. But like I said, very well done video package this was. Don't care about the match, but this was very greatly done. Main event: Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn versus Damian Priest and Dominik Mysterio. And this was your typical tag team Monday Night Raw main event. It's like I feel like every week there's a tag team match to end Monday Night Raw. So we had the Judgment Day. They were walking down to the ring. Seth Rollins and Sami Zayn end up attacking them. So we had Sami Zayn and Rollins end up fighting Damian Priest and Dominik off. And, Finn Balor was chased to the back. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, the match was already underway. Dominik and Seth started off the match. Dominik delivers some right hands in the corner. Seth delivers some right hands and a kick to Dom. Sami Zayn then tagged in, and Sami Zayn and Rollins end up double teaming on Dominik. Sami Zayn end up grabbing Dominik, but Dominik end up pushing Zayn in the corner. Priest end up tagging in. So Sami Zayn delivers some right hands to Priest. Zayn climbed the second rope and end up hitting Priest with a right hand. Rollins was then tagged in, and once again, Rollins and Zayn end up double teaming on Priest. So we had Seth end up delivering some chops to Priest. So Rollins climbed the second rope and jumped off, and Priest ended up hitting Seth with a right hand. Priest ended up throwing Rollins in the corner, and Dominik ended up tagging in. Dominik delivered some right hands to Rollins, but Rollins came back and delivered some chops to Dom. Rollins ended up hitting Dom with a forearm. He ended up going for another forearm, but Dominik ended up moving out of the way. Priest ended up tagging in. He ended up knocking Seth down and knocked Sami Zayn off the ring apron. Priest ended up locking in the armbar on Rollins, and Dominik ended up tagging in. Priest and Dominik ended up double teaming on Seth. Priest ended up tagging back in, and he delivered some right hands onto Rollins. Priest ended up throwing Rollins into the ropes, but Rollins delivered a kick to Priest. Rollins was on the ring apron, and Priest distracted the ref as Balor ran out, and Balor ended up tripping Rollins and threw Rollins into the ring post. And then Monday Night Raw went to commercial. So then as Monday Night Raw came back from the commercial, Dominik and Seth were in the ring. Seth delivered a forearm. Dominik ended up taking Priest in, and then Sami Zayn end up tagging in. So Sami Zayn and Damian Priest end up going at it. So Sami Zayn delivers some right hands to Priest. He ended up throwing Priest to the ropes, and Sami Zayn delivered a clothesline to Priest. Sami Zayn knocked Dominik off the ring apron. Priest then delivered a right hand, but Sami Zayn ended up throwing Priest to the outside. Sami Zayn went to the ropes, and he jumped to the outside, landing on Priest. Sami Zayn threw Priest back into the ring and hit Priest with a tornado DDT. So Sami Zayn ended up going for the cover, and Dominik broke up the pin. Dominik then tagged in. He ended up dropping Sami Zayn onto the second rope. Dominik ended up going for the 619, but Sami Zayn delivered a clothesline to Dominik. So Priest and Seth were tagged in. Seth ended up delivering a sling blade to Priest, and Priest fell to the outside. Rollins delivered some suicide dives onto Priest, and Priest fell over to the commentary table. So at the end of the match, we had Rhea Ripley end up getting in Sami Zayn's face. Balor ended up hitting Zayn with a drop kick. Rollins was on the top rope, but Priest ended up hitting him from behind. Priest ended up going for the Razor's Edge on Rollins. Priest looked at the Money in the Bank briefcase, and he asked Balor to give him the briefcase. Balor momentarily hesitated on giving Priest the briefcase, but Balor ended up giving Priest the briefcase anyway. So as Priest was about to cash in, Rollins ended up hitting him with a super kick. Rollins then threw the briefcase onto Dominik's face. Balor then grabbed Rollins by his eyes, and Sami Zayn ended up hitting Balor with the Ludwig kick. Rollins ended up hitting Priest with the stomp, which that was a awful looking stomp that Seth did to Priest. So Seth ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Rollins and Sami Zayn ended up winning the match. But overall, your typical, tag team main event to end Monday Night Raw. Match was just meh, in my opinion. We've seen this before, but that was Monday Night Raw. Overall, just a very mid-show it was, and it did nothing to get us excited for SummerSlam on Saturday. But anyways, that's it for the Monday Night Raw review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite.